there has been a polling uptick, as you would expect, for Donald Trump, thanks to this debate. Nate Silver points out that his numbers are going the wrong direction, that there has been a somewhat small but also somewhat durable increase in the polling numbers for Donald Trump, that since the debate, Donald Trump has jumped about 2 percentage points in the polling data. The latest poll, Survey USA, has Trump up 2. The New York Times Siena poll that was taken before the debate has Trump up 4. There's a poll that just came out after the debate, and it shows Trump up 5. That is from Atlas Intel. That's Trump plus 5.2 at 45.5 to 40.3, with RFK picking up 10%. Full-scale disaster area here for the Biden campaign. So again, there's been a wide divide on the left between whether Biden should stay or whether he should go. And the only question is how close you are to Joe Biden personally. That really is what it is. If you're a member of the media, you're basically calling for him to go. If you're a member of the Democratic political establishment, you're calling for him to stay. Why? If you're a member, because now their interests actually diverge. So since 2008, when Barack Obama was elected president, Democrats and the media have basically been one giant blob. They are the same. They're indistinguishable, which is why you can have a revolving door of Jen Psaki from the White House to MSNBC, and then maybe back to the White House, and then back to MSNBC. This is how it works. It's the same. The press has just been an apparatus of the Democratic White Houses. That's all. The Democratic Party, the press, indistinguishable. But that all changed last week. Why? Because the credibility of the press was invested in Joe Biden not being the thing they all said that he wasn't, and then he was the thing. So now the press have their own interests in upholding their own veracity for having written article after article after article saying that all stories about his senility were Republicans' pound stories. So the New York Times editorial board literally called for Joe Biden not to run again. Quote, President Biden has repeatedly and rightfully described the stakes in this November's presidential election as nothing less than the future of American democracy. Biden has said he is the candidate with the best chance of taking on this threat of tyranny and defeating it. His argument rests largely on the fact that he beat Trump in 2020. That is no longer a sufficient rationale for why Mr. Biden should be the Democratic nominee this year. At Thursday's debate, the president needed to convince the American public he was equal to the formidable demands of the office he is seeking to hold for another term. Voters, however, cannot be expected to ignore what was instead plain to see. Mr. Biden is not the man he was 4 years ago. As it stands, the president is engaged in a reckless gamble. There are Democratic leaders better equipped to present clear, compelling, energetic alternatives to a second Trump presidency. There's no reason for the party to risk the stability and security of the country by forcing voters to choose between Trump's deficiencies and those of Biden. It's too big a bet to simply hope Americans will overlook or discount Mr. Biden's age and infirmity that they see with their very own eyes. If the race comes down to a choice between Trump and Biden, the sitting president would be this board's unequivocal pick. But that's how much of a danger Trump poses. Given that very danger, the stakes for the country, and the uneven abilities of Mr. Biden, the United States needs a stronger opponent to the presumptive Republican nominee. So that is the New York Times editorial board calling for Joe Biden to step out of the race. Now, here is the thing. If Joe Biden is not capable of running the race, he shouldn't be president. They should 25th Amendment that guy. If he is too senile to run, he is too senile to be president of the United States. Axios reports he is not sentient between the hours of 4 p.m. and 10 a.m., all the way around the clock. He's sentient for most of the hours my kids are in school. That is legitimately what Axios is now reporting. So the media are saying the truth, bizarrely, because again, they require the credibility of saying the truth late after lying to all of us. Here's Jonathan Karl of ABC News saying very few Democrats are pretending Joe Biden did well the other day.
Even before the debate, there was a sense of dread among many Democrats, a fear that the campaign was heading towards something they consider unthinkable, a Donald Trump victory in November. President Biden needed a strong debate to show that he has the physical and mental ability to take on and defeat Donald Trump. That's why he spent nearly a week at Camp David with an army of advisors preparing for a debate with rules and a format that his advisors designed. Few prominent Democrats are even pretending he did what he needed to do on that debate stage.
By the way, Democrats are now worried that Joe Biden is going to drag down all the Senate candidates. So one of the oddities is that Democratic candidates are outpolling Biden in nearly every swing state this year. So Sherrod Brown in Ohio, he's outpolling Biden. In Pennsylvania, Bob Casey is outpolling Biden in Pennsylvania. In Arizona, the Democratic candidate for Senate, Ruben Gallego, outpolling Biden. So Biden is actually trailing every Senate candidate for the Democrats. But the problem is that if turnout's real low for the Democrats, they lose all those seats. So they are freaking out. The Wall Street Journal reports, quote, Democrats who worried about President Biden's reelect prospects even before his uneven debate Thursday had been pointing to a bright spot in this year's campaign. The party's Senate candidates and some vulnerable House candidates generally poll better than the weakened president. Now, those Democratic candidates and their aides are trying to sort through whether Biden's halting performance and sometimes dazed appearance have sapped the party's goals of retaining the Senate and flipping the House. Both chambers with thin majorities are in play this fall. By the way, a report from Politico this morning that Democrats in the House are now basically begging their donors. They need the House because they're not going to win the presidency. Again, members of the press who are probably going to vote for Joe Biden no matter what, even they are appalled by what they saw, or at least pretending to be. So I will give it to, listen, Bill Maher, I'm friendly with. Bill has been honest about this since the beginning, that Joe Biden is diminished and that he expected Trump to run strong. But here is Maher. Listen to the audience. It's less about what Maher is saying and more about the audience. The entire Maher audience, which is a left-wing audience, I know I've been on his show many times, the entire audience is laughing at Joe Biden's performance because everyone sees the thing. Here's Maher.
You know, Joe, he famously loves trains, but apparently not of thought. It's just all night, confused and halting and trailing off. I've seen beauty pageant contestants answer questions better. I don't want to say the bad. His new Secret Service name is Amber Heard. I'm coming on.
Even the folks over at Pod Save America were very upset about all of this. So the Pod Bros at Pod Save America, those are all Obama boys. So the Obama team, they've always seen Joe as a very fragile vessel for the Obama agenda. And now they're like, God bless it. We're going to throw this guy under the bus. Here's Mehdi Hassan, Qatari frontman, and the boys at Pod Save America lamenting the fall of Joe Biden here.
I've been to Georgia. I've been to Michigan recently. Every single brown person I met, people who voted Democrat all their lives, say we're not voting Democratic. We want to punish Biden. Now, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you that is what people are saying. I dare you to ask all those people to vote again this morning after what they watched last night. It's just not the same thing. We're in a very different place. People saw the car crash in front of their eyes.
I understand that.
The biggest challenge in this race has been to capture people's attention in a very fractured media environment. There are now no more opportunities, because the one opportunity when 50 million Americans tuned in, Joe Biden did not show up. The party does not have a problem with Democrats, it has a problem with Joe Biden. That's what people are trying to tell us right now.
Okay, so again, Pod Save America bros, they're saying he needs to be out. Politico has an entire article about how the mainstream media is now saying he needs to be out. And so now an open war has broken out between Team Biden and Team Obama, as Politico reports. Quote, Biden camp lashes out and Obama alums push back. Less than 72 hours removed from the debate performance by President Joe Biden that was widely seen as catastrophic, top members of his campaign team are lashing out at the president's Democratic critics, meeting expressions of grief, dread, and fear over the debate with mockery directed at one-time allies. And it makes perfect sense because the Obama team has always scorned the Biden team. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.